I can't move against Grindelwald. It has to be you. In your shoes, I'd probably refuse to. It's late. Good evening, Newt.
Oh, come on.
Hi guys, it's Fentony back for another Fantastic Beasts video, and today we're going to be talking more about Albus Dumbledore from the Comic-Con trailer. The Comic-Con trailer for The Crimes of Grindelwald has been a massive success. It showed us more about the film and certain characters that we've not seen that much of so far, such as Johnny Depp's Grindelwald. I'm very impressed with him so far, but I think we have to talk about Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore. I think Jude Law is the perfect casting. From what I've seen so far and from all the interviews, especially at Comic-Con, I can tell he cares about the character a lot. And he has mentioned that his kids grew up with Potter and he kinda learnt the story with them. And Jude Law has revealed that J.K. Rowling has told him Dumbledore's full backstory and she's given him an insight into where the story is going. He's a big selling point and Warner Brothers know this. Jude Law's Dumbledore has been heavily promoted, especially in the first trailer, all the photos that have been released so far, and in this Comic-Con trailer. Fans are very excited to see this young Dumbledore. The opening scene of the trailer does feature Dumbledore teaching the students how to face boggarts. He's teaching Newt Scamander and his classmates how to use the ridiculous charm. Jude Law has confirmed that Dumbledore during 1927 in The Crimes of Grindelwald does not teach Transfiguration. He was the Transfiguration teacher in 1943 when Tom Riddle opened the Chamber of Secrets, and then he becomes headmaster. But it looks like in 1927, Dumbledore is not Transfiguration, and facing boggarts kind of falls under Defense Against the Dark Arts. So if he's not Transfiguration teacher just yet, then he must be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. As we saw in this scene, and from other stuff in the present time during 1927, his relationship with Newt Scamander is going to be a big part of this story. In the flashback, everyone laughs at Newt when he tells them that his fear is the fear of an office job, except Dumbledore and except Leta Lestrange. Dumbledore says everyone fears something, and I think eventually we're going to see his boggart. I do believe in the Potter series it has been revealed that his boggart was his sister Ariana's dead corpse. We have seen Dumbledore at Hogwarts, and we know the Ministry will confront him at some point, and of course there's the flashback with Newt, but we also see him in London, and he uses his own creation, the Deluminator, which did appear in Potter. The Deluminator is Dumbledore's own creation, and it was used in one of the most iconic scenes in Potter, when Dumbledore arrives at Privet Drive and removes all the lights. But we know it does more than just put out lights. When Dumbledore died, he left it in his will to Ron Weasley, and Ron was able to use the Deluminator to guide him and then apparate him back to Harry and Hermione. I expect we're going to see more of this. Maybe Dumbledore gives the Deluminator to Newt, or maybe to one of his friends, maybe to Jacob. I would love to see some sort of relationship develop between Dumbledore and Jacob. We know Dumbledore during this time and during the Potter series is a big advocate for Muggle rights. So Dumbledore meets with Newt in London during the day and during night, so it looks like he meets with him several times. He takes something from Newt in the nighttime scene, then disapparates away. Supposedly whatever this is has the alchemical symbol for gold, and we know the Philosopher's Stone can turn any metal into pure gold, and we also know that Nicholas Flamel, the famous alchemist, will appear in the series. Is this card or whatever it is some way to contact Flamel or maybe find him? Remember, Nicholas Flamel is a close friend of Albus Dumbledore during the Potter series, and we're not too sure if they know each other right now, but I think it's highly likely. And remember, during the first year of Harry Potter's school life, Nicholas Flamel actually trusted Dumbledore that much to give him the Philosopher's Stone. Whatever's going on here looks very important, and I think Nicholas Flamel is going to play a big role. There's lots of theories out there saying the stone is also going to play a big role, and could be part of Grindelwald's plan. Supposedly the alchemical symbol for the Philosopher's Stone is very similar to the Deathly Hallows symbol. I've always believed that Grindelwald wants the Philosopher's Stone because he believes it might be the Resurrection Stone. Remember, the Deathly Hallows are legends, and their abilities and locations and histories are not well known. Perhaps Grindelwald, who's even researched the Hallows, makes a mistake. Maybe he believes the Philosopher's Stone is the Resurrection Stone. I do believe some critics of the Deathly Hallows believe the story of Beedle the Bard and the Deathly Hallows. They believe that the Resurrection Stone takes influence from the Philosopher's Stone, so maybe that further backs up that theory. I'm also going to talk about Nicholas Flamel for a minute. When we see him in the trailer, he looks very frail, and he is very fragile. But here's a theory I was thinking about. What happens if the frail Nicholas Flamel is actually him needing more elixir of life? Him and his wife rely on the elixir of life created from the Philosopher's Stone to maintain their long lives. As long as they keep drinking it, they'll never die of old age. But maybe the Philosopher's Stone has been stolen or is missing, and Nicholas Flamel is unable to drink from it, and that's why he looks like this. Maybe once he gets the stone back and uses the elixir of life, his body starts to get younger again. So let's talk about one of the biggest scenes in the trailer, Dumbledore looking into the Mirror of Erised. Remember, the Mirror of Erised shows us the deepest desires of our hearts, and Dumbledore has been critical of it in the past, saying men have wasted their lives looking into it. In the trailer he does look into it, and he desires Gellert Grindelwald. We don't know what this actually means, and I don't think we should jump to conclusions just yet. We only saw a scene for a couple seconds in a trailer. Maybe Dumbledore does desire Grindelwald, desires to stop him, desires to learn the truth about Ariana, desires to believe that Grindelwald was the one that killed her. I've also seen some theories that Dumbledore has a bracelet on his arm with the sleeve rolled up. Perhaps this bracelet has very similar properties to the symbol that Gellert Grindelwald gave to Credence in the first film when he was disguised as Percival Graves. Maybe when Dumbledore touches it and activates it, it can summon Grindelwald, or maybe communicate with him. Or it might just be a bracelet Grindelwald made or bought for Dumbledore years ago. Remember, Dumbledore says he can't move against Grindelwald. We assume it's because Dumbledore fears Grindelwald. He fears learning the truth about Ariana and to bring up the past. He fears he was the one that killed her. But perhaps he fears Grindelwald for other reasons. Perhaps he fears he's going to be tempted to join him once more. Dumbledore always said that he kinda knew that Grindelwald was not a good person, but he was blinded by love. Perhaps he fears facing the man he loved. Perhaps he fears joining him once more. Perhaps he fears he'll become weak and give in to temptation. I do believe he's not going to tell Newt Scamander the truth. I do believe he's going to tell Newt the reason he can't move against Grindelwald is because the Ministry is watching him and he can't interfere. If he does, he's going to be arrested. I do think this is going to cause problems, as I do believe Grindelwald is going to tell Newt the truth, or his version of it anyway. He's going to tell Newt that him and Dumbledore were very close friends, and they actually had plans to do what Grindelwald is doing now, to gather the Deathly Hallows and tear down the International Statue of Secrecy, and force the Muggles into subservice. Do you think Dumbledore will mourn for you? Grindelwald is trying to manipulate Newt, make him doubt Dumbledore, make him feel that Dumbledore doesn't care for him, turn him against him. But Grindelwald's not the only one who's manipulating Newt. Dumbledore's doing it as well. He takes the card of him during the nighttime scene in London and says something along the lines that he would refuse if he was in Newt's shoes. Eddie Redmayne even says that Dumbledore is very sly and he's been trying to recruit Newt for a long time. Muggles are not lesser, not disposable. In this scene Dumbledore looks very distressed, and then it transitions into Grindelwald in another room in another scene. I do believe Jude Law has confirmed that he doesn't share any scenes of Johnny Depp's Grindelwald in the present time during the Crimes of Grindelwald in 1927. They are going to have flashbacks with different younger actors, so I don't know when Johnny Depp's Grindelwald and Jude Law's Albus Dumbledore are going to face off. They're meant to fight in 1945, which will be the final film number 5, and during that duel Dumbledore is meant to beat Grindelwald and then take the Elder Wand for his own. We don't know if they meet before 1945. I do believe in the Deathly Hallows it said they weren't, but of course they might have met in private. I do believe Rita Skeeter gained this knowledge from Bathilda Bagshot, who might have not known the truth. So maybe Dumbledore and Grindelwald meet before 1945, or maybe they communicate at some point, perhaps through this bracelet that Dumbledore is wearing. So let's talk about something that's been brought up a few times. Supposedly Dumbledore has 2 different wands. In the poster he has a wand, and then in the trailer and some of the photos I've seen so far, it's a different wand. Why does he have 2 different wands? Does one of them get destroyed and then he replaces it? One of the wands looks very similar to the Elder Wand. Maybe this is just a visual, representation, because Dumbledore's wand in the Potter series was the Elder Wand, and the designers for Fantastic Beasts wanted him to have a similar wand. So guys, how do you feel as Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore? From what I've seen so far, I think he's the perfect casting. Of course we can't judge his performance until we see the film and the entire series, but from what we've seen so far, I think he's the perfect actor. We don't know how long his screen time is going to be in the Crimes of Grindelwald. I do think he's going to play a big role, even when he's not on screen, but further down the line I think he's going to have an even bigger role, and he might even travel with Newt at some point. Jude Law does confirm that he only casts 1 spell in this film, so we're not going to see Dumbledore showcasing his power just yet, but just wait guys, it's going to be spectacular. So as always, remember to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think, and I try to reply to as many comments as possible. And if you are new around here, and you love Fantastic Beasts and you love Harry Potter, make sure you subscribe, and then ring the little bell to turn the notifications on. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.